All right, welcome back to Barstool Units. It is maybe our Christmas episode here in the Barstool office. I'm Coach Doug's with me, as always, Frank the Tank Fleming. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just looking around, just getting ready for the Christmas. I'm going to Idaho next week. I'll see if we can record a show out there while I'm in Idaho. But if we
How's the
can't, this
internet
will
out
be
there in Idaho?
what?
How's the internet out there?
I'm going to try to see if I can get a booster going out there.
Yeah,
I
you
might
might need one. You might need one. It's in the middle of nowhere. But other than that, you're doing
actually
pretty
no.
well.
It's about 2 miles from the middle of nowhere.
There we go. It's a geographical oddity.
Yes.
That's an "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" reference that we'll just look past. But yeah, so you're doing pretty good though. Teams are doing okay.
Dolphins. This is like the 7th time I've gone to a December dive where a season's just died. They're not making the playoffs. They're gonna get creamed on Saturday. They're just done. They are done. 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 It turns out all the Tua critics were right. He does suck. And after this season,
there was a lot of drop. There were a lot of drop passes in that game.
After this season crumbles, the Dolphins seriously have to consider trying to get Lamar Jackson.
I mean, there were a lot of drop passes in that game, Frank.
They're going to get creamed by Buffalo. They're going to lose on Christmas to the Packers. They're going to lose on New Year's to the Patriots, and they're going to finish 8-9 after they lose to the Jets. Done.
You don't think they're going to win another game this season?
Not going to win another game. I've seen this movie before. I saw it in 93. I saw it in 2002. I saw it in 2009. I saw it in 2012. 2013, 2014, 2010, 2018.
Yeah, I mean, you're just listing every year.
Yeah, well, the Dolphins have had like 7 times where they've just needed one more win, and they go like 1-4 or 1-3 in December, or 0-5.
Yeah, you've been here before. You're not going to put your heart out there.
It's over. Well, I'm probably going to watch the game Saturday night.
Probably. You're not going to watch your Dolphins play?
Well, the Devils are playing at the same time, and it's Star Wars night.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if it's Star Wars night. You obviously have to go to the Devils game. But I apologize. I didn't realize it was Star Wars night.
But they're not giving anything away this year, so maybe I'll watch the game.
How are they not giving away anything on Star Wars night? You see, Frank, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, Frank. The New Jersey Devils organization, no matter how well their team is out on the ice, they are hot garbage. You know, they're hot garbage. Like, okay, so speaking of Star Wars, what was that trash chute they were in where they jumped in the trash pit? That is the New Jersey Devils organization right there. And they've got some little creature just swimming around, just ready to pull you down and kill you. That's the New Jersey organization that I know, Frank. Garbage.
I mean, last year they gave out the Boba Fett hats.
Yeah. That was something at least. It doesn't fit.
But it's something. When you do Star Wars night, they just have a bunch of people cosplaying around the concourse and then on the ice.
Garbage, Frank. You know what? That's everything. Every time something comes up with the Devils, it just solidifies my opinion of that I made the right decision. I'm not going to lie. When the Devils started playing, and what? I mean, they were what, like 19-4 at one point?
20-4.
They were 20-4 at one point, and I was like, geez, was I the problem? Was I like, did I just not give enough as a fan? Was I the problem last season? And I've realized, like, I didn't quit the team because the team was bad on the ice. I didn't do that. I quit because it's a bad organization and they don't care about their fans. And to not give anything out on Star Wars night, that just proves that I made the right decision. And I enjoyed the game at Madison Square Garden.
It's kind of it doesn't bother me that they're not giving out anything, but it kind of makes it not as If they're giving something out, I would be there.
Well, you know why it doesn't
Decision would
bother
be
you? You know why it doesn't bother you? Because they have basically told you year after year after year, don't expect anything from us. You're a fan. You're lucky we allow you to pay us to come to these games. You're lucky to be a fan of our organization. They've molded you and bred you to be unexpecting of anything.
I mean, the Devils only have like 4 or 5 giveaway items a year, maybe 6.
And they're all garbage.
I like the bobbleheads.
Besides the bobbleheads, they gave out a plastic stick. One game they gave out a plastic stick, a literal plastic stick.
Yeah,
couldn't even make it out of metal. Garbage.
Yeah, and they gave out a jersey.
Go Rangers. That's all I have to say.
But yeah, if they were giving something away, I would definitely go. I just know the Dolphins are going to just get stomped. It's going to be blizzard-like conditions. Tua is probably going to be picked off 5 times. Jalen Waddle is going to drop about 3 passes, and boy, Jalen Waddle, what the fuck has gotten into him? I mean, he is plummeted. I mean, my Christmas sweater is selling well, but he is just sucking.
Frank, you might say the Waddle has toppled.
Well, it's another fantasy league I'm going to finish last place in.
I mean, Frank, you have to expect it by now. You have to be used to it by now.
I lost my fantasy. I finished. I was in 2 fantasy leagues. In one league, I was 1-11, and the other one I was straight up 0-12.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And the closest one, and when I went 0-12, the closest one, the closest game I had was I lost one game by 20. I actually lost one game, 189-10.
10. But did you?
Yeah, I had Russell Wilson.
Did you forget to bench your players, or what?
No, I had Russell Wilson, and he.
I feel like you get 10 points just for signing on.
Yeah, Russell Wilson had -20. Broncos country, let's ride!
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll play.
I banked everything on Russell. I built my whole team on Russell Wilson. I had J.K. Dobbins as my running back.
Why in the world? And this is going back. Why in the world would you build your entire team on Russell Wilson? He wasn't good last season. Why would you build your team around Russell Wilson?
Because I suck.
You know what, Frank? That is a fair answer. I will leave it at that. I will not go any further.
And I had Jalen Hurts sitting there, and I said that, and I laughed at the guy who picked Jalen Hurts when I picked Russell Wilson.
That is silly, Frank. You have a lot of silly takes. That is just one of them. The idea that you know what I mean. I can't say it's that dumb. The entire Denver Broncos front office did the same thing, and they get paid, millions of dollars to
at least
do
they
that.
Hire Nathaniel Hackett.
Well, yeah, and so you've got that on the Denver Broncos. I want to bring up another just silly take.
By the way, this Christmas, instead of getting coal in their stocking, naughty boys will be taken by sleigh to L.A. and forced to watch the Broncos and Rams.
Yeah, that doesn't sound entertaining at all. But going back to your silly,
they're actually putting that game on Nickelodeon.
It should only be on
Nickelodeon. That game.
It should be only on Nickelodeon. They shouldn't have it on any other channel.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Nickelodeon, is so bad and unappetizing.
Speaking of children, speaking of childish, just silly takes. Something came up last week. You stated that the Houston Texans are rivals with the Dallas Cowboys.
It's a one-way rivalry.
And I have to push back even on that because, okay, so let's say this. So, all right, you're saying it's not a full rivalry. It's kind of like a Boston College Notre Dame, where Notre Dame doesn't care about them at all. Oh,
No.
I'm giving a good example of your dumb take, and you're saying that's not even a good example.
A better example would be Florida International against Florida State.
You think Florida International has a rivalry with Florida State?
Florida International thinks they do.
No, 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 absolutely not. No, no. You think there is one person on FIU's campus that believes that Florida State is their rival?
Well, they're in the same state.
What does that have to do with anything?
Maybe here's a good example. The Cincinnati Bearcats.
You think cities just because they're in the same state, you think they're automatic rivals?
Yes.
So any team in any state is just a rival because they're in that state.
Yes.
That is ridiculous. That is a silly statement. You think the Jags and the Bucks are rivals?
I absolutely do.
You think the Eagles and the Steelers are rivals?
Oh, hell yeah. They've been rivals for 80, almost 90 years. They actually even merged once. And were called the Steagles.
So you're telling me the rivals became one team?
Well, that was because of the war.
That's how much of a rival they are.
Well, that was because of the war.
Okay. Okay. I have to tell myself something real quick. He doesn't really mean it. He doesn't truly believe this. You don't believe this. I have come to the conclusion that you don't believe half the things you say, and you only say them to mess with me. I feel like you are Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, and you're talking about your Goyden Wood. I'm over here just trying to have a simple conversation, and you're like, you know how I can mess with him? Like your brain is thinking, hey, what can we say right now to give him an aneurysm? I truly don't believe.
In 1947, the Eagles and Steelers actually played for the division. And it was the only playoff game that the Steelers had in their first 40 years.
Do you think Troy and Alabama are rivals? Do you think Tulane and LSU are rivals?
Maybe you're a little too small.
Do you think that Stanford and Fresno State are rivals?
Well, maybe they're a little too small. But here's one. Cincinnati and Ohio State are rivals.
I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. All right. So I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
The Cowboys don't regard the Texans anything. The Texans are.
Why do you think that
shitty team in Houston?
And why do you think the Texans regard the Cowboys any differently? Why do you think the Texans care about the Cowboys more than another team?
I got an idea. I got the analogy.
Please, I'm more than open to it.
It's the Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks. The Brooklyn Nets have have the smallest fan base of all the teams in the New York metropolitan area. All of them. Devils, Islanders, Rangers, Mets, Yankees, Jets, Giants, Knicks. 90% of New York, 90%, maybe even 95% of New York are Knicks fans. The Knicks regard the Nets as a mosquito. Their rivals are the Celtics. Their rivals are elsewhere. In fact, right now, the Knicks don't even really have rivals because they suck. But they don't care. If the Knicks ever got good again and were like contenders, nobody would even pay scant attention to the Nets. The Nets see the Knicks and they got it's like, this is the game you have to win. This is and believe me, the Nets have basically dominated the Knicks over the last 5 years. And it's like, yes, the Nets say, put that on the calendar. We have to beat the Knicks. And the Knicks go, well, whatever. It's just another game on the calendar.
So you believe the Nets believe players that get paid millions of dollars to play basketball, when they play the Knicks, something about those millions of dollars just isn't enough. And they play the Knicks harder than they do any other team.
I've seen it, yes.
So you're telling me, as a Brooklyn Nets fan, you are comfortable with, you're okay with the idea that the team that you root for doesn't play hard every game. They don't play as hard as they could every game. You're telling me they give extra when they play the Knicks, which means that they don't play as hard when they play every other game. So you're telling me, as a Nets fan, you're okay.
I don't love it. I tell you that much, but I tell you this,
so you wish they would play harder every other game as hard as they do the Knicks, which apparently they do.
Yes.
It does that. Okay, so it does bother you.
Yes. But here's the thing. The Texans are so bad. So bad. The organization is so beyond fucked up.
Only this year.
No. It's been fucked up for about 3-4 years now. And it's going to be fucked up.
I don't know if I'd go back 3 or 4 years. If we look at the number of playoff games each team has played in the last, 15, 20 years, it's probably about the same.
Maybe. But I'm talking about since 2018, the Texans, when they did the DeAndre Hopkins trade.
Yes. That, I think most people would say that was the turn. That was the turn.
And they keep cycling coaches through there. They keep cycling general managers through there. The Deshaun Watson fiasco, that hurt. That destroyed them. Davis Mills is their quarterback. He's obviously not the answer. They put that other guy in there who was Kenny Allen or something like that. Or
I don't know.
I don't even remember. The guy sucked. The guy really sucked. But they played their best game of the year this year. Should have beaten the Cowboys.
You think that's because the Houston Texans players consider Dallas a rivalry? That's why they played that game so well?
Yes.
Not that they get paid millions of dollars to play football. It's because it's a rivalry.
They were 18-point underdogs, and they should have won the game.
I mean, they should have won the game. They could have won the game. I mean, what are we talking about here?
I'm telling you that there was a little.
So because Houston almost won, they almost had an upset. That shows that they're rivals with Dallas.
Yes. Especially fans.
Jacksonville beat Buffalo last year. It was one of their 2 or 3 wins of the season. Jaguars don't consider Buffalo a rival because they should have lost by 20 points and won.
Well, Buffalo went in there sleepwalking.
Well, maybe Dallas went into Houston sleepwalking.
Well, yeah. Well, Dallas doesn't.
Maybe that's why Houston almost won, and not because they're rivals. Just doesn't make any sense, Frank. Doesn't make any sense.
Let me tell you
Makes
something.
no sense.
Let me tell you something. For a team that's going to be to finish with the worst record in football this year, and have been one of the worst teams in football the last 3 years, top 5 pick last 3 years, and of course they didn't even have the draft pick. They went to the Dolphins that 1 year. Top 5 pick the last few years, and you beat the Cowboys. That's going to be a win that they will talk about forever. If they held on to that game.
I mean, Frank, you think as a Jaguars fan, we're going to be remembering that, hey, we beat Buffalo that year. We only won 2 games.
Yeah, you're talking about it now.
Yeah, I'm using it as an example for your dumb take.
You know, when you suck and you get a win that you don't expect, you know, maybe it's something that you just like sticks in your feather cap. Hey, maybe that's the moment they say, you know, that was the moment we began to turn things around.
No, the reason it's memorable is because it shouldn't have happened because you suck.
Do you remember the Texans' first game?
The Texans' first game?
Yes.
Ever?
Yes.
No.
ESPN against the Cowboys. They won. Became the just the second expansion team, other one is the Minnesota Vikings, to win their first game. You start 1-0. And they were partying in the streets like it was New Year's Eve in Houston.
I'm sure people in Houston were very appreciative of that. I'm sure they loved it.
And the
That
Cowboys
does not make Dallas a rival team. What makes we've jumped this. We've gone too far into this. I can feel the circulation like starting to slow down, and it's just like I can't. Speaking of absolute,
that's tank brain taking over.
Yeah. Speaking of absolutely ludicrous things, we're at Rough and Rowdy. You had McDonald's. You Ubered eat McDonald's. You Uber Eats. You Uber Eated.
I Ubered it. Uber Eated. Uber Eated it.
You Uber ate. You Uber ate McDonald's. It took them an hour and a half to get there, and when it finally did, they didn't have your snack cake, which is not just a problem like, hey, Uber Eats, you forgot my snack cake. It was a medical emergency. And so we've talked about this. I made a video about it when we were on our road trip down to Alabama. But for those that don't know, you have to hide your pill in some kind of snack cake in order to swallow it. Or pudding. And this is, you've been doing this for how long? For your whole life?
My whole life. My father can't swallow pills. My grandmother couldn't swallow pills.
You think it's hereditary?
Yes.
You think the ability to swallow a pill is in your DNA? It's passed down from generation to generation.
Yes.
See, I'm on to you, Frank. This is where I know you don't really believe that.
My father can't swallow pills. He gags
I'm not
all the time.
Not in that at all.
Especially when I have to take those stupid fish pills. So it's the fish oil. That pill's the size of a fucking football.
I mean, you eat food though, right?
Yeah.
Like you swallow solid food before. Like you've done that before.
Yeah, but
what's the difference? What's the difference between like a chunk of ham and a pill?
It opens up my air pipe. Otherwise, the pill will get caught.
What?
I just can't put a pill on my tongue and drink water. It doesn't go down. It gets stuck in my throat.
Now, is this something that you tried once when you were a kid and you've just never tried it again?
I still can't. I can't do it.
You think it's mental or physical?
It's physical.
You can't force yourself to do it at all.
Can't.
All right. Well, there we go. So in order to take your medication, you have to hide it in a little Debbie, like a Hostess
Debbie,
cupcake.
Drake's. I like Little Debbie this time of year. They have the Christmas tree cakes. And I buy Drake's. I buy the Ring Dings, the Funny Bones, the Yodels, the Little Debbie, the Hostess, the orange iced cakes there. I like the orange iced cakes. It doesn't matter which one it is. It's got to have like a little soft. I put the pill in there, and I'm eating it, and the pill slips down my throat.
So you can't swallow a pill. However, when you have a pill surrounded by a larger object, you're able to swallow that.
Yes.
Make it make sense. Help me out here. Help me out here. How does that make sense?
You see, I'm biting into the cake. And while I'm biting into the cake...
You're not biting into the medicine, are you?
No. So while I'm biting into the cake, the pill sneaks its way in. It's like it opens the door.
It's the pill sneaks. So going back to whether this is physical or mental, it sounds like you can swallow, but your brain is saying, hey, there's no cake in my mouth. Don't let anything get past the esophagus.
Yeah, and I'll just gag.
Because there's no cake in your mouth.
Right. Especially with those.
Have you ever tried stuffing just like a small piece of cake in your cheek and like tricking your brain like, hey, there's cake in my mouth, and then try to swallow a pill?
If I have cake, then I'm eating it.
No, I'm saying put just a little piece of cake in your mouth, just like Pavlov's dog. Just put a little. In fact, and you can work your way. You can condition yourself here, Frank. I believe it. We'll start out. You're eating the cake and the pill, and then the cake. We'll just make the cake a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, and then to the point where you're only eating a little bit of cake. And then
as long as I have those fucking horse pills,
and we'll have you smell the cake. We'll just wave.
That's not going to work. That is not going to work.
And you know why it's not going to work? Because you're telling yourself it's not going to work.
I mean, it just doesn't work. I
because you're telling yourself, if you told yourself it worked, this is all mental, Frank. This is all mental. And I mean that in two different ways. It's mental and you're crazy.
And then they give you these fucking fish oil pills. Have you ever seen a fish oil pill?
Yes, it's a normal pill, Frank.
No, it's not. It's this fucking big.
The fish oil pill is not that. Have you ever had a Tylenol 3?
It's this goddamn big.
Have you ever had a Motrin 800?
Well, I take a leave, and yes, I have to also use cake when I have my leave.
I mean, the fish oil pills are not that big.
They're huge. They're humongous.
If you have tiny pills to compare them to, then yeah, they'll look big compared to tiny pills. But they're not.
I have my pill sorter.
They're not horse tranquilizers.
And it almost takes up half the goddamn pill. The pill organizer.
You're not eating horse tranquilizers.
I had to buy a bigger pill. When I first got the fish oil pills, I heard somebody say I'm going to need a bigger pill organizer.
I'm going to move on from that. Not even going to acknowledge that reference. So I mean, yeah. So other than no snack cake, Providence, Rhode Island. I think it's a nice little town. I think Providence, Rhode Island is a nice little town. The train ride there and back wasn't too bad. And yeah, Providence, Rhode Island, nice little town. Congrats to O'Malley and all the other winners. And yeah, it was a fun little time. I hope I get to go to another Rough and Rowdy.
Yep. Maybe next time the Unable brothers will actually get a win.
They set him up for failure in that second fight. That guy was a killer. That guy gets into hockey fights. He should not have been fighting that. He should not have been fighting that Abel brother at all. I think that guy wants to fight Biz. I wouldn't be. I tell you what, he looks like Biz's illegitimate son. With that, when he came out with the mustache, he could absolutely be like Biz's nephew.
He also wants to fight Lights Out Bobby. He actually challenged Bobby at the end of the fight.
You know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I think he needs to fight. I think he might need to fight one or two more people before that.
Yeah,
before he gets
but
that
I think this guy has the potential to be a new Rough and Rowdy star.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I think maybe fight a couple more fights before going after Lang, but Lang definitely has the size on him, but he's a fighter, so it could happen. Well, it's Christmas time, and so the college football season's over with. When the college football season started, somebody, in fact, it was after the LSU game, somebody tweeted at me and said LSU is a fraud. FSU they'll finish at 8-4 at best. And I said I would be so happy with that. We haven't even won 6 games in multiple years. We finished the season 9-3. Very happy with that. I think we're on the right trajectory. And Mike Norvell,
LSU is pretty good themselves too.
Yeah, and Mike Norvell's doing good recruiting. He's bringing guys from the transfer portal in that are going to be have real impact right away. So I'm excited.
Of the 2 big colleges in Florida, that third team is no longer a major program. I think Florida State's probably in the what?
They haven't been for years.
I mean, Miami is now just a step above Vanderbilt. These days.
Except Vanderbilt has their own team.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's bowl season. Let's get into the bowl games, Frank. Let's start with that. So as far as the unit belt picks,
we should remember Mike Leach. Stunning what happened there. Apparently, he had a bad heart, and they've known about it for a number of years. But it sometimes it just gets you, and it got him.
Yeah, I think I love his quote of what do you want to be remembered by? And he said that's their problem. What do I care? I'll be dead. That's an all time. That's
why Mike Leach. That's why everyone loved Mike Leach, because Mike Leach just come out with just say crazy things.
That's their problem. What do I care? I'll be dead. And I might be paraphrasing that a little bit, but I mean that I think that encapsulates his whole persona and why everybody loved him.
Yep.
All right, so to the bowl games. I'll let you start. The unit belt. I'm up 4 games, I think.
I think it's 3.5 or something like that.
Okay, so maybe 3.5, but either way, 3.5, 4 games right there. Let's get into it. As always, Frank, I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with a team that you've already mentioned here on today. I'm talking about Troy, and they're playing. Okay. This is probably one of the most appetizing games on the first day. They're playing in Orlando in the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl, and they are a 1.5-point favorite over UTSA. I'm going to take Troy.
Really? Going against Chaps there? All right.
All right. Let's see the next one I'm going to pick. I'm going to go to the Fenway Bowl, a brand new bowl game. This is this is the 3rd attempt at the Fenway Bowl. Both it was supposed to be played in 2020, got canceled. It was supposed to be played last year, got canceled. Well, finally going to get the Fenway Bowl, and we got a strange situation. Cincinnati lost their coach to Wisconsin, so they hired a new coach, Louisville's coach. And Cincinnati is playing Louisville. And Louisville's actually a 2-point favorite. But I think Cincinnati is going to win the game. So I'm taking Cincinnati +2.
Excuse me. Why are you saying it that way?
It's Louisville.
Yeah. Why are you saying it that way?
That's how I say it.
You're serious?
I'm serious.
Okay. Moving on.
All right. We're going to the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifle, which could be perhaps the worst name for a bowl game.
Yeah. Like
Los,
at
Los Angeles.
no point would I be happy about playing in the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
But I actually saw this line, and maybe I'm clueless, but Fresno State is favored over Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Wazoo plus 3.5.
Okay.
All right. The next one I'm going to is on next Tuesday I'll be flying out to Idaho. So I think I'm going to go with the in the Frisco Bowl, which is in Texas. Boise State has had some bowl shenanigans the last few years. They had a game that was stopped because of a thunderstorm and never resumed. They had COVID cancellations the last 2 years, and now they're playing in the Frisco Bowl against North Texas. And they're a significant favorite in this game. And the game is in Texas, but you know what? I'm going to Idaho. I got to go with the Idaho team. I'm taking Boise State minus 10.5.
Nice.
And the last one, my over-under, and the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. I think this bowl game should get a little bit more love than being on the first day.
Nope.
But it's Oregon State against Florida. Oregon State is 10-point favorites over Florida. They might cover. I'm not sure, but the over-under is 52.5. And I am taking the over in the Gators and the Oregon State Beavers.
Why are you saying it that way?
That's how I say Oregon.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So we have obviously we're picking bowl games that end on that end before the 20th, so we can have more picks later.
We might try to do a show next week. We'll see you next week. If not,
yeah,
I'll be in Idaho. I'm going to see if I can get a internet booster out there. But so, we'll try to do a show next week so we can get more picks.
Yeah. So we have one pick in common, but I'll start here. The Las Vegas Bowl. You said there should be more, hype around this. I think there should be no hype around this. It's the University of Florida. They're garbage.
Oh, I'm not saying that the teams.
No. But it's the first bowl.
Yeah, I'm saying this is a bowl. This is a bowl game that should be. I think a Las Vegas bowl game should be played like closer to New Year's Day with bigger teams. It's Las Vegas. It's Vegas.
I mean,
I've never been to Vegas. Next year, I want to go to Vegas.
Maybe next year you should go to Vegas for the Vegas Bowl.
I got more. I got to check the rest of these states off my list.
So that's okay. All right. So besides that, Las Vegas Bowl, Oregon State.
Oregon.
We don't have time for this. Oregon State over the University of Florida. I'm picking Oregon State to cover minus 10. Next, we are going to the Boca Raton. As Jerry would say, Boca Raton 540. We're going to the Boca Raton Bowl. Toledo over Liberty. Toledo's favored by 5. I'm going to take them in them covering the minus 5. Toledo over Liberty.
So you're saying that Liberty doesn't have a prayer?
So you can't pronounce Oregon, but your mind can come up with that concoction. Yes. I'm going to go Toledo over Liberty in the Boca Raton Bowl. Next is the game. We have this in common. Fresno State, huge rivals to Stanford, as you mentioned earlier, but they're playing Washington State. I got to take Washington State here plus 3.5. The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. again, I mean, like you just of all the bowl games to be picked for, you go into the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. What a joke of a name of a bowl game. This is going to be my over under. So I'm taking Cincy versus Louisville over 40. 40 points does not seem like a lot for these teams. So obviously, the new coach is coming in, but I don't think it's going to have a major impact on their offenses. So I'm going over 40 is my over under. Next to the Frisco Bowl, I am also on this game. However, I have no faith in Boise State whatsoever. North Texas Mean Green is plus 10.5. I will gladly take those 10.5 points. And so, and this will be good because
I gotta go to Idaho. I don't want the people of Idaho angry.
Oh yeah, and listen, all 12 of them. So those are my college bowl picks. Like I said, we're only 3.5, 4 games apart. So I'm glad that we are not on more than one game together because I want to give you a fighting chance to make it back. Because I could just go down the list and say I'm picking all the same picks you have, but that would not be a unit move at all.
No, it wouldn't.
All right, so to the NFL, go for it.
All right, starting Saturday nights. Dolphins are done. Buffalo
Done.
Bills minus
Mahi
7.
Mahi.
Minus
Real
7. Minus 7. I would take the Bills if it was minus 27.
Really?
Yes. The Bills are going to win the game by at least 30 points. At least.
I'll take that action.
All right. I'm going with another blowout in my next pick. Chicago Bears, they've got probably one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. After trading Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith, teams score at will against the Bears. They score at will. They can't stop anybody. I think almost every game they've given up at least 30 points. And Justin Fields, he might have a good game here and there, but no matter how good Fields plays, he can't do anything because the defense is just getting murderized. They're playing the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is going to make it hurt. Eagles minus 9. Chargers are making a late run at the playoffs. The Titans there's something wrong with the Titans. Something is wrong. They've lost their last 3 games. I'm going to go Chargers minus 3. Sunday night, just like the Titans, the Giants are done. Toast. Everything all the fans are talking about had dread going into the season, thought the team was going to suck. They got off to a good start. Fans are feeling hopeful. Well, you know what? Daniel Jones sucks. You know who doesn't suck? Tyler Heineke. And you know what? 2 weeks ago, the Commanders had to come back, tie the game. This week, the Commanders dominate the game. I'm taking the Commanders minus 4.5 against the Giants. And my over-under, I'm going under 37.5 in the Steelers and Panthers game. I was torn. Should I take this under in the Broncos? Should I take the under in the Steelers game? I ended up taking the under in the Steelers game. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's going to play. Are we going to have Mitch Trubisky returning to Carolinas? The Steelers' defense has played well since T.J. Watt has returned. And Baker Mayfield, I mean, come on, it's Baker Mayfield. This is going to be a game where it's going to be in the teens.
Baker
I'm
Mayfield.
taking the under in the Steelers and Panthers.
Baker Mayfield. The Rams quarterback?
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. That's what I meant.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Well, I like those picks because we're not on any of them. We have no overlapping picks. That's great. I'll start out Jacksonville at Dallas. Listen, Jacksonville's good. Jacksonville is good. I think this last weekend's win may be a turning point. And, they joked around about it 2 weeks ago. They said, the Jaguars are one of those teams that have hope. Like, hey, what if we went out, even though they know they won't? I said, but what if they do? And I love the win against Tennessee, and I definitely think that Jacksonville is capable of beating Dallas. I'm taking Jacksonville +4. Next up, we have Baltimore at Cleveland. Neither of these teams look really good, but the way Cleveland played this past weekend, I don't know where they're headed. But I give Baltimore the slight edge, and so for me, Baltimore +3. I'll take those points all day long. Baltimore +3 against Cleveland. Next, we have the New York Jets. Detroit, New York Jets. This is a pick'em game. Neither team is favored. I like Detroit. I think Detroit,
Really?
just like Jacksonville, I think Detroit, just like Jacksonville, is on the come up. And who knows if Mike White is going to be playing or if they're going to have to rely on Flacco. The Jets' defense is great. Sauce Gardner should be, or very well could be NFL defensive rookie of the year.
I can't see who you could give it to over him. I can't see it.
He's been fantastic, but he is only one guy on the field. I'm going to go Detroit. Like I said, it's a pick'em game, so I just have Detroit to win. Cincinnati at Tampa Bay. You've said it all year, Frank. This might be Tom Brady's bye-bye. He's not looking great. Now he did.
Mary ain't what he used to be. Ain't what he used to be. Ain't what. Oh no, I shouldn't say Mary. I should say the old gray coal. He ain't what he used to be. Even 2 years ago.
There we go. He's and you have Stephen Che talking about how San Francisco will want him to come play in San Francisco when they have Trey Lance, Jimmy G, and Brock Purdy, who's looking pretty good. So crazy for Stephen Che to even mention that. So I'm taking Cincinnati -3.5. I think they'll cover. And then my over-under, you mentioned this earlier, Philadelphia, Chicago. Philadelphia is scoring at will, no problem. Justin Fields looks amazing. Justin Fields looks great. So I think this could end up being a shootout, and I'll gladly take the over. It's a high over. It's 48.5, but I could easily see each of these teams scoring.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see the score totally being like 34-17.
Yeah, and so I'll gladly take the over on that. Those are my picks. I like my picks, and so I'm happy with them. 3.5, 4 games over right now on the unit belt, and we'll see if I can grow that lead this weekend.
No, we'll see. We'll see if we can record next week. If not, we'll just post a pick. So keep your eye out. Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. If you have a penny, if you don't, God bless you.
What?
Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Christmas is coming and a da-da-da. If you don't have a half penny will do. And if you don't have a half penny, then God bless you. You never heard that?
That's units. See you next week. Maybe next year. We'll see. Who knows? We'll see if any of us are even around anymore. Ugh.
It's not a song.
I noticed. Well, you want to click like and subscribe?
I'm missing a line somewhere. But that's basically how the song was going. Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. Christmas, da 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 da. If you don't have a half penny will do. If you don't have a half penny, then God bless you.
If you don't have a half penny, okay, we can't do this anymore. See you guys later. Click like and subscribe. Frank, anything else? Please don't start singing again.
We'll try to record next week in Idaho. I'll see what I can do. If not, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and God bless you.